Hi, I'm Dr. Shikha Sharma, and today I'm going to be talking about menopause and weight gain. And in the context of menopause, I'm going to be talking about what hormones are there which change during menopause and how they contribute to weight gain. So, first, let's understand menopause. That we all understand that menopause is a time when a woman who's having her cycles, who's menstruating, who's having her periods, she gradually stops having those periods and eventually they stop. So about 12 months when you haven't had your periods is a time when you've had your menopause. So the reproductive function starts changing before that, but menopause is a time when it actually shows up as the ending of all menstrual cycle or periods or the bleeding. Now, what really happens inside the body when a woman is having her menopause? So, first, let's understand that the function or the real reason why periods start is the onset of a woman's ability to have a child, which is called a reproductive ability. So, from the age when her periods start, which could be, I mean, it's as early as 10, but let's say 12, 13, when her periods start, and then she slowly becomes able to have a child or conceive a child. And to do that, certain hormones are required for this ability. Now, it's not only to have a baby, but there are two hormones, estrogen and progesterone, which are very important in this whole feminine reproductive cycle. What does estrogen do? Now, estrogen is fundamentally what makes a woman, which means the what we call as the womanly figure, which is fat on her chest, breasts, fat on the hips, a certain distribution of fat which distinguishes between a man and a woman. So, which is hips, thighs, breasts, so this kind of fat deposition, which is triggered by a change in hormones, is primarily due to estrogen, which also means that estrogen does many other things. It gives that nice hair to a woman, healthy hair to a woman, of course, provided she's also eating well. I mean, if you don't eat well, then even at a young age, you will not have healthy hair. So which basically makes the secondary sexual characteristics, as we call in a medical terminology, of a woman, so which is long hair or thick hair or healthy hair, which is a skin, which is a soft skin, which is a youthful skin. Then again, fat deposition around the breast, around hips, around thighs, that kind of fat deposition. Then what we would say is the is the feminine pheromones, which is the odor a woman she has when she is going through her cycles, which is also basically another aspect of a woman where she attracts more men during that phase. She's sending out those pheromones into the environment, into her space, which also actually, if you really see, these estrogen, and of course I'll come to progesterone also, is also responsible for uh, for mating behavior, for wanting to find a mate for yourself. So because these are some subtle triggers which are happening. On a health front, there are also things which make a woman healthy, like for example, healthy heart. I mean, you'd be surprised to know that a woman is preferentially uh, made healthy by the universe, by the genetics, because during her reproductive cycle, her heart is protected. So women do not have so many heart attacks if you take a man and a woman and they're having the same kind of a diet, as good or bad. The bad effect will not be showing up in a woman. It may show up in a man. Why? Because this estrogen is also protecting her heart. Similarly, estrogen also protects the bones. So during the reproductive cycle, the bone loss in women is very minimal. It's almost, I would say, very, very minimal. So it protects the bones, it protects the heart, it protects, the immunity. So overall, estrogen hormone is very protective by nature. And like I said, it is responsible for a certain fat deposition. Now, when we look at progesterone, the progesterone is the other part of the hormone, which also brings the cyclicality, the cyclical nature of a woman's hormone, of a woman's uh, flux in hormones. And progesterone is responsible for holding a baby. So if a woman gets pregnant, the progesterone ensures that the baby is, there is no contraction, there is no menstruation, and the uterus becomes strong and thick, and the lining becomes protective around the baby. So basically, progesterone is for that phase if a woman conceives, so she can have a baby. The uterus lining becoming thick and strong, no periods happening, no contractions happening. So that is the progesterone phase. Now, when we talk about menopause, both these hormones come down. And because these hormones are coming down, a woman experiences sudden weight gain. A woman experiences sudden change in her skin. Her skin starts aging very fast. A woman experiences bone loss. And if she's not eating healthy, her risk of heart attacks also goes up. Cardiovascular uh, risk also goes up, which is equivalent to a man. So her protection ends. So that protection card which she had during her reproductive cycle just goes away. So she's as highly at risk as any other man. So which means her skin is becoming dry, her hair fall starts because the protection of estrogen for the thick hair is not there. So she starts losing hair. Uh, she starts feeling tired, exhausted. Her body starts holding a lot of water. Plus, her fat deposition starts changing, which really bothers the woman. So now the fat, which was mostly outside in a female way, which was hips and thighs and all outside the body, now starts accumulating inside, which is visceral fat. Now, what is the difference between visceral fat and subcutaneous fat? Subcutaneous fat is typically like under your cheeks, under your skin, externally around hips and thighs. And what is visceral fat? It's that fat which most women dread, which is your under the belly, under under the. It's not under the skin. It's actually around all the body organs, the visceral, the deep inside the skin, not skin, deep inside, surrounding the organs. So if you really see this, let's say this is the skin. This is the skin. So subcutaneous fat is here. It makes the skin fatter because it's right under the skin. But visceral fat is under, it is surrounding the organs. And this deep visceral means inside the body, surrounding the stomach, the intestine, the liver, that area. And that is the bad fat. It makes the stomach hang outside. It makes the cholesterol, it makes inflammation go up. It makes your stomach feel lousy. It is that secondary additional tier of fat, that what we call as an extra tire which comes up. And that is the area around the umbilicus, which is all visceral fat, which causes diabetes, cholesterol, high BP, all the inflammatory markers, which is the dangerous fat. So, fat is unhealthy in general, obesity is unhealthy, but fat on your hips and thighs is not as bad as visceral fat because that's not inflammatory fat to begin with. That is more adiposity around you, which is external. This is now internal, which means your internal organs are not functioning, are not going to function as well. And this is the dangerous and dreaded fat which menopausal women are scared of, and which is the stubborn fat. So, by the way, this visceral fat or menopausal fat, your dieting will not help, your fasting will not help. It requires proper metabolic modification because your metabolism is coming down. Another thing which women experience is that their muscle tissue is coming down. When the muscle tissue comes down, the firmness and the tightness of the muscle goes away. So there is saggy body, and in a saggy body, then the fat also is collecting, and that is what women are so upset about. The body is sagging, the muscles are being lost, there is less tone, the the fat is accumulating, and the body is changing for the worse. Now, when most women from young ages are used to dieting, are used to fasting, are used to some of them even starvation, I would say. I mean, because a woman tries to control her weight by eating less. But menopausal weight gain cannot be controlled by eating less. It needs a scientific program. And when I say scientific, I'm not talking about surgical methods. I'm not talking about chemical methods. I'm not talking about all of that. I'm talking about scientific natural methods, but which are based on your biology. So let's call them biologically aligned methods. So, what are those things which a woman needs to do so that her menopausal weight can be managed and controlled? But before we go there, in this video, I want to talk a little bit about what's happening during menopause. So, like I said, that this visceral fat accumulation, which is a stubborn fat and not this will not respond well to dieting and all those your usual measures, needs a different way of handling. Plus, if you starve, your skin will get damaged more. Your muscle loss will happen more. That means already you're having muscle loss. Already, due to muscle loss, your metabolism is going down. And now, if you starve, your muscle loss will be worse, which means after that starvation, you will become more haggard because you will lose weight on the fat on the face. You will lose the metabolic capability, and then the weight will come back with a big rebound. It's not just going to come back; it's going to come back at the wrong places also, which is this area, the back, where it just shows as very odd kind of fat. Another thing which happens is there's already sleep disorder which is happening because estrogen also manages good sleep. So, which means that your sleep is getting affected. And this sleep getting affected, visceral fat, nutritional deficiency because of all the dieting you are doing, leads to fast aging, accelerated aging. And that is the problem which menopausal women face. That they don't know what to do. They're putting on weight, they're trying to diet because that's what's always worked for them. And now suddenly nothing is working and they're spoiling their skin. They're losing hair. And that's what bothers them. And it would bother anybody. So let's first understand on a scientific level, on an anatomical level, at a biological level, what's happening. Because let's not straight away jump into diets, because that's what ruins a woman's beauty and health as she crosses 45 and 50 and onwards. Because she doesn't understand, and the only thing she understands is let's diet, and she ruins her body because of that. She's not nourishing her body the right way. She's not losing the visceral fat. She's just trying to lose weight, and her weight on her face goes away. And then she's trying to inject Botox or take fillers to get back that youthful look. So, like I said, the crux of understanding menopausal weight loss is first the crux of understanding the root cause of weight gain, which is your hormones. If you understand your hormones, then you will be able to fix this problem in a better way. Otherwise, you would be just trying and going in what I call a diet circus. Sometimes trying this, sometimes trying that, and then it's a diet circus which you would be chasing and which is not going to help, and which is going to leave you financially down also and emotionally down also. So, when we talk about what are the hormones which are if important for women, like I said, estrogen, progesterone. Now let's understand. Okay, there is these hormones are going down. There is swelling coming up. There is water retention coming up. There is this belly visceral fat coming up, and one is struggling to get it down. So, what are the triggers of this kind of situation? So, the first trigger, obviously, is that while the biological change is natural and normal and will happen, you can't do much about it. But the imbalance which was already existing in your body is now showing its head in a full-fledged manner. So already your body had an imbalance. And because of menopause, this imbalance is uncovered, or this imbalance has been exposed. And therefore, we have to also fix the imbalance in your body to get you to lose weight without damaging your skin, without damaging your hair, without making you look older. Because I'm sure when you want to lose weight and menopause, you don't want to be a skinny woman who's looking 10 years older than her actual age. Because you don't want to damage your skin, you don't want to damage your facial skin. And that's what women end up doing when they do these fast track weight loss programs, which are unscientific and not based on biology or human anatomy or human physiology. So, what one needs to do is to understand that how do we balance those hormones without resorting to chemicals? How do we balance those hormones? Number one, how do we balance the malnutrition which has already happened? Now, when we talk about malnutrition, it's not a skinny kid, which we normally see pictures of a skinny kid. No, malnutrition is bad nutrition, imbalanced nutrition. That is undernutrition. So when we talk about bad nutrition, that means already there are some deficiencies which were there in your body at a subclinical level, and because of menopause, they got triggered. And because of menopause, your sleep cycle got disrupted. And now that lack of sleep is also affecting your skin and also leading to weight gain. How does lack of sleep lead to weight gain? It basically triggers your insulin. Your insulin goes up, your stress hormones go up, and there is weight gain. So, if you have to lose weight, the first crux which I want to tell you is you need to balance your estrogen and progesterone in a natural way. And we'll talk about those ways in subsequent videos. Second thing which you need to do is you need to detoxify all those things in your body which are preventing your natural biorhythm to get established. Natural enzymes, natural hormones to get balanced. So we need to remove those things from the body. Third thing, which is very important, is we need to nourish with the right things, scientifically. And when I say science, please don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about chemicals. I'm talking about natural, plant-based things. And then finally, we need to develop a protocol, a lifestyle protocol, which will improve your metabolism, build your muscle, tighten your abs, and restore bone strength. Because if your bone strength is not there, if your muscle strength is not there, you can lose all the weight you want, but you will still look older than your years. Slimming will not by itself make you look younger or youthful. You will look older than your years. And that's critical. So, in the next video, I'm going to talk about what are the steps one should take for losing menopausal weight. That is very, very important. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in part 2. And we'll take one step at a time and go in detail so that as a woman who's undergoing menopause, you don't get stuck in a diet circus and get frustrated, lose your emotional sense of calmness, lose money over things which are not going to work because they're not based on biology of a woman. So keep watching, and in the next part, we shall talk more about how to lose weight for a menopausal woman, which respects and supports her biology.